Welcome to Heartfelt with Julie Margerison, a space for honest stories, tender truths, and soul-deep conversations. I'm your host, Julie Margerison, and here we explore the questions that stir something real in us, questions about joy, fear, healing, and the moments that shape who we are. Each episode is an invitation to slow down, go deeper, and hear the kind of stories that remind us we're not alone in this human experience. So wherever you are right now, thank you for being here. Let's begin. Well, hello. Welcome to Heartfelt with Julie Margerison podcast. This is going to be a solo episode, and I just want to say that I am celebrating being alcohol free since September 23, and so that is 2 years. And now it's been 1 year since being sugar free. So I have not eaten chocolate, a pastry, a piece of cake, creamed rice. That was one of my favorites, homemade creamed rice, chocolate slice. I'm celiac, so I eat everything gluten-free. So I was going to say Tim Tams, and then I remembered Arnott's did bring out gluten-free Tim Tams, and there's like 8 in a packet, and I would just eat the whole packet in one sitting. So in this episode, I want to talk to you about the highs and the lows of going alcohol and sugar-free, and I just want to say that it has shown up in a lot of different layers, not just the physical, but also the mental and the emotional. And as I have been unpacking that in the last 2 years, the biggest thing that has shown up for me is how I have used sugar and alcohol to make me feel safe. And I can see that I've done it all my life, because when I was a kid, a young kid, my mum and dad moved into a service station when I was 6 weeks old. And then they turned it 24 hours. I'm not sure how my mother coped with, bringing up 3 children, plus also having a newborn to contend with, and it certainly must have been challenging. And not that I actually really have a vision, but I always said that I'm pretty sure my brother, who is 5 years older than me, would give me those killer python snakes to suck on in my cot. I'm not sure if that's actually true, but he probably did sneak me lollies. So I have to say that I have been addicted to sugar all my life, and it is, to me, worse than any other drug because it is readily available out there. I could go walking down the street eating a Cadbury chocolate and no one would even bat an eyelid. I've never ever had drugs, like I've never had marijuana or anything else like that. But I've certainly have used alcohol and sugar as my addiction. And so I just want to talk to you a little bit about that as I've been unpacking it. Alcohol has been in my life all my life, and because my parents would drink, and they still do have drinks, and society still sees as having that glass of wine or celebration, having the pop go off the champagne bottle it's very, very recognized as a good thing to do. Well, I can remember having, and I think I have a photo of it, of me having a celebratory drink at my 12th birthday. And I'm not sure if I drank the whole glass, but I can remember that. And then fast forward a few years, I could remember going out and getting drunk. And I never liked how it made me feel the next day. Not about being hungover. I never felt hungover. I just felt this deep sense of shame that I would relive how the night went. Spilling my drink, I was being loud, I was being a know it all, and then I would relive it for the next week. And there was a lot of shame involved there. And and then fast forward it when I was in my 40s, I had this Christmas party and the kids were there and my first husband was there, and I was, had drunk a couple of bottles of champagne. I loved Asti Riccadonna. That was my favorite. And I was like, love the karaoke. So I'd steal the microphone and be singing karaoke. And the next day, I I just went into a world of shame. But before I got to that, it was actually, so it must have been not in my 40s. I had to go to my son's grade 7 graduation and I was still drunk. And I just like, so it was in 2007, I think. And I was there and I was still laughing, and I was videoing my son's graduation, grade 7 graduation, and I just couldn't believe how I felt. I felt so shamed. Then that week, I actually went into like a deep depression because I just had so much self-judgment, and it was horrible. So that was my first time that I really went, I don't really like this person. But I don't think I ever got drunk like that again. But I would still have those social Friday night drinks, and it was something that it was like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It would be, time for those drinks, and it would happen on Saturday. And but I never liked how I woke up the next morning. And not being hungover, it was like it just put my energy out of whack. And I started having tingles in my fingers. And it's like, just don't think this is good for my body. But I kept on trying to be accepted in society because I'd go out and go out with my first husband, and I was looked as weird if I didn't want to drink. And it's like we didn't have a connection anymore because we wouldn't sit down and have a drink, or he wouldn't even think to ask if I wanted water or even a soft drink when he went up to the bar. So I felt very round, that round person that I feel quite weird because everyone else is drinking. My first husband was happy that I was the driver because I would not drink and I would be able to drive. So there were times that I would drink again and go back in. But when I went on my self-discovery journey, which started 6 years ago, I really could see how I was using alcohol as a coping mechanism. I would drink at home alone. I was a full drinker, and it made me feel good. It made me feel like I had a friend. It made me feel, yeah, seen. Even though I wasn't actually around people, I was more at home drinking than I was drinking out, because I was living on the Sunshine Coast then, and I didn't want to pay for Ubers. So I wouldn't drink much when I went out. So it would be when I was at home. And I really started noticing how my body was starting to feel quite achy. I was having feet issues. And then it was when my doctor brought it to my attention that I might need a cortisone for my hip. And it's like, I don't want to have that stuff in my body. So he said, well, you could try keto, or you could try paleo. You could do it the long way and get the inflammation out of your body. And I went, well, I'm going to try that. So I did try paleo, and I did reduce my alcohol, but I didn't fully go sober until September 22. Actually, it's 3 years. Did I say 2 years? But it's actually 3 years. 3 years since I drank alcohol, 22 and then 24 for sugar. Yeah, so I just didn't drink anymore. And it made a huge difference to the inflammation in my body. The tingling in my hands went, my feet weren't aching, I didn't have the sore hip, but I was still eating sugar. And so then when I was trying to work on my irritable bowel, I thought, well, maybe it's the sugar and everything like that. So I then tried going sugar-free. And paleo is, a very low carb diet, but I'd still sneak sugar in. I can remember March 23, I was at an event and wasn't drinking alcohol, and everyone else was having a great time. But I was going through this big anxiety attack. I was facing an issue that had come up in me, and I was just eating muffins, lollies, just whatever sugar I could get. And my son was the one that brought it to my attention, and he said, Mum, why are you eating so much of that? And I said, I just need it. I just need it because I'm not coping. So I thought, wow, that was interesting. So that was a big start of unpacking how sugar made me feel safe. I didn't know it as that back then. I just knew that it made me calmer. And and I then started seeing it on my timeline. I can remember there was this one day I was at work and I was like feeling so shaky. And I thought, oh, I can't work because I'm just like feeling so shaky. So I walked up to the health food shop and bought a cheesecake and ate the cheesecake. And then I could feel myself calm. And it's like, wow, I am really addicted to sugar. So, like I said, it's been a year since I've had sugar. And what I had to come up against was walking in a supermarket and seeing the Cadbury. It was like gremlins trying to get me and going, eat me, eat me, eat me. And my husband couldn't even bring home a Cadbury box of chocolates. He'd been given them, and I said, you cannot have them out there because I'm just wanting it. So I really felt that I was very tuned into that Cadbury colour. But I'm pleased to say that after lots of work on coming from my soul and seeing holistic counselor, psychologist, having healings, doing lots and lots of writing, doing lots of meditation, that, and I'm sure there's so much more that I can't even put words to, that I now can have Cadbury around and have no desire to have it at all. It was so amazing that how I'd put the chocolate in my mouth and it would, I don't know the chemical response, but it gave me the feel good feeling. But then from here down, it would upset my stomach. It would give me gas. But I would just ignore that because the tongue and the head needed it. So now I don't have that feeling anymore. And it is so amazing. Before I was totally off sugar, I was seeing a naturopath and he told me to go into Lindt chocolate and have the 90% because of the health benefits and the antioxidant. And it's like, wow, I've been given permission that I can have chocolate. So I had Lindt 90%, and it just upset me so much. And I just went, I just can't keep doing this anymore. So I have stopped. While I have been sugar-free, it has really brought out how I have used it to feel safe. So now I'm needing to find new tools that can bring me back into my body of safety. So meditation helps, writing helps, certainly being in the sun, being in nature, being in the ocean, all of that helps. But there are times that I just can't get to those places. So I have found, and I'm still working through it, is breath. And I can have full count to 4 inhaling and count out 8 exhaling through my mouth, and just working through that and helping me move through that has been the most significant help for me. Sometimes I don't get it right and I just spiral down, and I'm in a place of growth and the chaos. But with me sharing what I'm going through, and I do a lot of speaking about my story, what has showed up, what trigger has showed up, or what I'm feeling. Is it inner child? Is it mirror? Is it a trigger? Whatever it is, I know previously I would just use sugar for, but now I can actually see which is showing up the most. But the most important thing for me is when I speak about it to my friends or to my husband 10,000 times, it helps me unpack it, and it helps me feel into, oh yeah, that's right, that does make sense, or it lets my heart feel it. So a movement where I can help the community get a voice. So it is called Your Story Matters Movement. And I'm so excited to announce that I'm working towards getting this all ready so I can hold space for other people who want to be heard without judgment, without without feeling not seen, and really be present with the people in the Your Story Matters movement can actually share their story and actually help unpack it, and may not give solutions. It's just about them being able to feel into them and know that it's okay to have a voice. So if you want to be a part of this and keep up to date with what Julie Margerison is doing, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then you will get notifications. So I have Heartfelt with Julie Margerison podcast that is on weekly. I'm going to be putting more video chats on YouTube so you can see what's unfolding. I have just interviewed Mags, and I shouldn't say interview, it was more of a lounge chair chat. And we actually spoke just like we would be if we were at a coffee shop. And Mags really wanted to share about what she has been going through. And it was so lovely to hold space for her and actually just to listen to the clunkiness that she's been going through. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on the social media, because your story matters and I really want to hear your story. So thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing this moment with us. I hope something in this conversation stayed with you, opened something up in you, or simply made you feel seen. If this episode moved you, feel free to share it with someone who might need it too. And if you'd like to continue the journey with us, be sure to subscribe and stay connected. Until next time, take care of your heart and remember, your story matters.